Welcome all. Showing you there that those red spots I created using beetroot. So I was cooking some fresh beetroot one night and cut one in half, and as it does, it sort of that bleeds that little bit, and I thought, let me see what I can do with that. So I pulled out the art journal book and found a page that had colours on I thought might be appropriate, and splashed some circles down, and I really like it. So I've gone through some magazines just looking for some pages that will have the same colours as what my journal will be today. My idea today is to create a dream catcher with some sort of quote in it. I couldn't quite find a quote that I like, so I've kind of made some words up, which I'll put in there. Not a great deal, just a very short sentence. So I'm grabbing out what's that stuff called? Matte Gel Medium, I think it's called, which I use most of the time on my art journaling pages. One, to seal the page so the product underneath doesn't bleed when I put the next layer on, especially that red beet juice, which I did notice started to, or beetroot juice as some people call it, as it does tend to bleed a little bit. And it's a great adhesive to be able to put down these pieces of magazine. How's everyone been? Everyone been well? Everyone back at work, or you're still in holiday mode after the Christmas New Year? I've been back. I only had the standard time off between Christmas and New Year, and then back at work. So here in Australia, it's actually our summer school holidays. So it's our kids have finished grade, or my child has finished grade 1, and this year we'll be moving into grade 2. So during the January, early February, they have the whole time off school before they move up to the next grade. So between my husband's shift work and a few days at a friend's, we've pretty much got the whole time covered, which is fantastic. Not too much child caring holiday programs needed. So I've pulled out a stencil here and some colours. I thought I would do a bit of texture in the background, trying to make this page bright and fun, and also very, the plan is to be dreamy like. Don't know if that works, but quite like the end result. Could have been better, and then I'll talk about how it could have been better when we get to that stage, and I'll tell you what I don't particularly like about it. But cleaning off my stencil, just setting those there so I can lay that page down without touching the modelling paste that I just put down. Thought I would do another stencil in a different colour, so I once again got my heavy texture paste out here, nice and thick. I do really like that one. Have this beautiful acrylic paints, such vibrant colours, and I do love my vibrant colours. So I just dab the lid down instead, put a little bit of paint there to be able to mix in with the gel paint, and I do initially intend, as I say, just put this through the other stencil that you saw, the arrows, but end up putting it on in quite big thick blobs and then doing some hash lines through it, and quite like that texture as well. So just building up the layers in the background colours. A lot of this does go to the background as we move further through the process when I put the Dreamcatcher over top, but the colours is lovely, or are lovely. If you stay with me for a while, you soon know that me and English words, we don't have a great relationship. I do, I do, make up a few words as we go along, but I'm okay with that. It is what it is. And in fact, when it comes to my title, when we get there, I'm not too sure whether I've used correct grammar, but I'm happy. I'm sure there's probably a couple of different options, and I've just chose one. But I'd use this stamp to put some, once again, some wood grain texture in the background, but no, I decided that that's not what I want to do. I want to bring out a little bit more of that yellow colour because I have covered up a lot of it. So I put a little bit there and just add some to it around the page in random places. So I tried to see if I could wipe the yellow off the top of the texture paste in that stencil pattern, but that no, didn't work, which is fine. I really like the way this is turning out. It's beautiful colours, reds and pinks and orange, yellow, as you can see, so it's very nice. What's coming up next? Let me see. What else is happening? So today we spent another day at the beach. Well, that's the morning that I actually made this layout. I'm voice recording it the next day, but on that day we made this layout first thing in the morning. So I generally get up about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have around about 2 hours all to myself before anyone gets up. So I was up this morning and created this layout before anyone else was up, which I do love my morning time to myself, coffee and a bit of scrapbooking or art journaling. So here I'm going through my magazines again, looking for some colours to use for my Dreamcatcher. I'm thinking purple and blues for the Dreamcatcher. Oh, look at that page. That page was gorgeous. It had all these little cats on it. I'm not a cat person. Well, we don't have a cat. We have a dog. But it's cute. I'm sure I'll be able to use that somewhere along the line. So I found some pages that have that blue and purple on it, and go through and find something to use as a bit of a template to draw my circle. And you'll see by the end product that I think my circle's a little bit too big. My Dreamcatcher's too big, or my feathers underneath are a little bit too small. The proportions just are not quite right in the end, but that's okay. So I thought I'd use this stamp that has a feather on it for my feathers, and I just stamp them all over all the different papers. Some I do light impressions, dark impressions, deliberately try to get imperfect impressions so you can see the colour of the background paper. So I stamp, I don't know, half a dozen or so throughout the different colour papers and fussy cut them all out. Don't believe I make you watch all that. It should jump ahead here in a moment, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I do make you sit and watch. Just cutting in the little, making the feathers not perfect. Oh, I swore I trimmed all this out. Let me see. If it goes on too long, I will save you the effort of watching it all and go back and see if I can edit some out. Not only because you don't want to watch it all, I don't think I could comment through it all. having a look at that paper to see whether I can use some colours there. Decide I can't. Oh, it looks like I might finally decide to edit some out. There we go. Cut that all out. Actually went off and had a bit of a break and come back a little bit later. Just gluing down the circle to the Dreamcatcher. And once you're down, you'll see that it really is, well, I don't think it is that big. I think the leaves, my feathers that I end up using, as I say, are a little bit too small. Grab my heat gun out just to dry that off. Not too sure whether all this is in focus, so I do apologise if it's not in focus. I have purchased a new camera mount to go up. I only film with my phone, but I'm hoping that as I do more of these process videos, I will get better at it. Decided that I wanted another layer with my circle, so I found this beautiful purple paper and cut out another circle a little bit closer. Actually, I decided to do this because I thought it would be great to add some texture there. So I've grabbed out this piece of wool string that I had in my stash, and I'm going to wrap that around the bottom of the piece of paper, which was a little bit trickier than it looks. But it goes around, and I really like how this is just add some texture and dimension to the page and really add it to the feel of what I'm trying to go for here. So around and around and around that goes. Got a nice little bunch happening down there. Trim that off, and then once again come back in with my matte medium gel, this stuff here, and glue it down. Put a fair bit of glue down around where the wool is, just so it doesn't come off loose in the future. I do leave some of it hanging down, and I do want it still sticking up off the page. I don't try to press it down flat. Heat gun out to dry it all off. Using my finger to make sure it's all got a nice seal, especially around the bits of paper. So over the years or time when people are flipping through, it doesn't tear. Now my idea once again is, this is where I was saying earlier in the piece that I'm not over happy with the way my Dreamcatcher turns out. It ends up being a little bit too big and a little bit too dark, and I do try to fix it, but it's not how I visualise. So I've got these colours out, which I think are all going to be nice and bright. And there at one stage when I put one of these colours on there, I go up, out. It's starting to get a bit too dark, a bit too big. Yeah. So add some colour down the bottom. So this, once again, just adding layers where my feathers would sit on top of this, hoping to give some dimension to the image. All a little bit too dark. I do come back in here after I dry this off and add some pink to the bottom part there, which does lighten it up a little bit. Turns it into a nice pinky purple area down there, which is certainly the colours that I was going for. There we go, just seeing how my leaves will look. Decided that it needs to be that little bit brighter, so not only do I want brighter, but I want quite thick texture there as well. So I'm putting that on reasonably thick so you give clumps and the strokes. And when I glue the leaf feathers down, I use the hot glue gun and put a fair bit of hot glue on the background. Once again, that gives it texture and dimension and good visual interest. Yes, I decided I need to see if I can make this a bit lighter, but failed big time at that. That just made it a bit darker. Thought I'd get out the white paint stiff marker there, but that didn't work either. Thought, okay, maybe I should draw it in the middle of the Dreamcatcher, and as I've never drawn one of these before, I thought I'd better see what I meant to do. Figured that's the gist that I was going for, so that's enough practice. Let's get on to it. And so away I go. And I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. It gives you the idea of what it's meant to be. Initially, when it was finished like that, I think, oh, that looks like a leaf, a flower, but then I realised I've got to go in and put that bit there in, the curve bit in, and I'm really happy with that. So then I want to look at putting some beads or the impression of beads at the joins, and once again I grabbed out my white posty paint thing marker there, but it actually, obviously the black where I had drawn the black line hadn't quite dry, and my white took on the colour of the black, so threw that aside. Thought I'd use some markers, Copiax markers, but they weren't bright enough for what I was going for, so grabbed out the acrylic paints again and added some dots at the joints, and I really like the way that worked. That was beautiful, really bright and vibrant. So I did the yellow, the pink, and maybe purple. I'm not quite sure now whether I did the purple as well. What else? Did I do the third colour? No, maybe just the two. Starting to glue down these feathers and think, oh, maybe I should use some of that same wool that I used on the other bit to hang some of the feathers off. So figure out how to attach these, and hot glue with fingers is always an interesting time to try to touch it while it's still warm but not too hot. I think you see me flicker my fingers a few times. It must have been a little bit too hot, but that does the job. So just sit there, the wool there, and I do go back in towards the end and tuck those into the actual bit that's around the rim of the Dreamcatcher, so it all blends in. But once again, I do leave some ends hanging loose just to give it that little bit of texture and flow and dimension. Yeah, so what do you think? Do you agree with me when I say the dimensions are not quite, the proportions are not quite right? Either my feather is a little bit too small, my Dreamcatcher is a little bit too big, maybe it's just that it's a little bit too dark. Love the background and the concept of it all. I think I will try it again somewhere in the future and do a different method. Earlier in the piece you saw me have that doily stencil. I think I might use half of that just hanging down from the top of the page and use that for my Dreamcatcher. Thinking that might work as well, and then hang some feathers underneath that. I think that might be a nice way to go. So somewhere down the track I shall do one of those. Nearly finishing here, just tucking this wool in, and trimming it up. Then it's just a matter of coming up with my title. I did do a little bit of searching on Pinterest for a title, but couldn't find one that was quite what I was looking for. So I end up coming up with Be Someone's Dream. Now, I spoke earlier about whether that's correct grammar. Is it be someone's dream or be somebody's dream? Not too sure. Someone's is what I went with. So, and I'm very happy with that. So I was trying to be a strong, good person that somebody wants to dream and aspire to be you or thinks you're a good person. That's what the intention of the title or the quote was trying to portray. Tidying up, packing some things away. I'm not too sure now whether you saw me put the title down. I think I might have. I'm sure you see a picture of it, but I don't think you see me putting it down. Just grabbed some alphas from my stash and put them down once again with a matte medium gel that I've used. Yeah, just putting a little bit of glue on. There we go. And that's it. It's come to the end. Oh, very fast. Bye. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.